So currently I'm here in a hotel room and because I'm on a work trip right now, but I want to talk with you about Avowed, which came out a couple of weeks ago, and this is actually a really good game. So let's get right into it, and I hope I can leave the camera setting like this for tomorrow so I don't have to switch anything, because if they come in here and clean the room and see this setup, then I don't know what they think, if it's for YouTube or for you. I am very glad I didn't listen to all the reviews out there. Well, not all the reviews. I do have to say that some reviews out there may be like a little bit too harsh on that game. I keep reading or seeing on a video like, oh my god, this is full of bears, this game. There are so many fucking bears and I have to fight so many bears. And yes, in the first area, there are some bears you are going to fight or encounter, but it's not crazy repetitive. You fight something else as well, or someone else as well. But bears in the first area, it's a thing. You're out in the wild and you encounter a bear here and there. But don't get the wrong idea about, like, okay, is this super repetitive and you always have to do the same shit over and over and over. It's actually the complete opposite. Avowed takes you into a world which is very, very fascinating. We have a German word for that. It is fabelhaft. And when I first started this game, I wasn't sure what to expect because of the reviews out there, because Obsidian Games took a little bit longer to develop. To release this game. It was postponed, and I watched a video on IGN as well where they were talking about, was it IGN? I don't know, it doesn't matter, but they were talking about with the guys from Obsidian Games, and it was very, very interesting, and how they got to the point to release the game. It was a cool interview. But anyway, the German word which I was telling you about, it's like fascinating fable or whatever, like fairy tale blah blah blah. But when I dove into the game the first time, I was stunned. But simply by the atmosphere, not by the graphics itself. We get to that in a little bit because I'm playing this on Xbox Series X, and I am going to share some concerns I have, or some things which are not very there yet, but we talk about that later. So I got to the first area where you got your first companion, or your first two companions. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's like right at the beginning of the game. You strand there, and then you get to the Downshore is the name of the village, or the first area, I believe. I stood there and I wasn't expecting such a gorgeous nature. And wherever you look, you see something else, and it's so special, and it's so gorgeous, and it's so nice, and you want to explore it right away. It really makes you want to explore everything right away. And of course, that's what I did. And I found out, wow, this is actually a super cool parkour as well. You climb up the walls or wherever until you get to the rooftop, wherever, and you find your chest, hidden loot or whatever. This is super, super cool. I encountered one strange thing, though. I was exploring in the first area and I was like, okay, there are some chickens, but I saw a scarecrow, and I have a little bit of a footage here. I saw a scarecrow, and the scarecrow was almost like tucked in a bed. It was in a barn, and I saw like a mattress on the floor, and this is such a weird detail, isn't it? I wonder where that came from, or who had the idea, like, okay, here's the scarecrow, and here's a mattress, and this is the barn, and let's place it right there. Maybe it's a kid or whatever who plays there, I don't know, with the chickens or whatever, built his little own place in the barn. I thought it was just a funny idea. But coming back to the exploration of the game, there is a lighthouse, and of course you run there like right away, and it's super cool climbing up, like really it is. But that's not just all what the game provides you with, like the cool ability to climb or parkour style. It has a really, really good story. It's a normal story. I don't want to get into that. But it is cool, and the characters are cool. They are very well written, in my opinion. So there's not a lot of like bad talk or like crazy brutality. The combat itself, and I was surprised, the combat itself is really cool for a first person game. I stuck to a wand and this spell book for the first, let's say, 10 hours of the game. I switch here and there right now between melee and range combat. It's really, really cool. The wand is cool. It takes me back to like, okay, it's a little bit of Harry Potter style or whatever. It takes me there. It's just cool. So for me it's a cool game. And there was something with the second area when you leave downshore. There was something where the magic was a little bit gone because it looked a little bit pale or washed out. And I think that also has something to do with the engine, which we are going to talk about, graphics in general. But the second area was not my favorite. The third area, on the other hand, awesome. Really, you get there, you get out there, you see the wild, you see the desert, all the possibilities for exploration, and that's what I mean. This game is for people who love to just explore and not just get in combat like right away and see this and that and get action here and there. It's just exploring. And I think they did a really, really cool job with designing the game. It looks so cool and it wants to be explored. You want to find all the loot. And there is a lot of loot in the game, don't get me wrong. I watched a review a couple of weeks back, a couple of months back, I can't remember, from the first reviews of this game. And they were like, oh, there's so much loot and it's totally not necessary and whatever. Yeah, but I think it is a lot, to be fair, yeah. There is a lot of loot. But I don't think it's a bad thing because the area is so massive, it's so big, and every time you get a new piece or whatever, you read what it can do. Is it a little bit better? Is it worse of yours? Or is it worth keeping? Or should you break it down or sell it or whatever? I really enjoy the loot in general. So I don't know. Maybe some people don't like it that way. I liked it, and it's very, very cool. But to the graphics here, first of all, I think this is very, very good that they delayed the game, that they have postponed the game, and that the game was delayed. Sorry. And they implemented a 60 FPS mode for the Xbox, and also the 40 FPS mode for both. I think it's for Series S as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for the Series X, you have the possibility for the 60 FPS, target the 60 FPS, of course, the performance mode, which I am currently still playing on, even if I have an OLED screen with 120 Hz capability and lets you run the game in a balanced mode of 40 FPS. I think I still prefer more fluid gameplay, especially in a first-person game. Especially in a first-person game. I did have to say that again because it was funny. Was it Obsidian itself which said like you don't necessarily need 60 FPS in? Was it a first person? I don't know what they said. It doesn't matter. They added this at least for the Series X, which is very, very good. But it still needs a lot of optimization, and there are some things which I think are okay. They do need, I don't know, better performance or whatever. You have like those conversations, or you see something further out. You see a chicken or an animal or whatever, and it has like this 10 FPS moves or whatever, and it really looks like a slideshow. I haven't done the comparison to the 30 FPS mode if it's there as well. I don't care because Obviously, I play in the 60 FPS mode or the target 60 FPS mode, which is my preferred mode to play. Not even the 40 FPS. No, no, no. I don't like that. It's good. Don't get me wrong. If you like it, do it like this. It's okay. I think the Series X with a performance mode targeting 60 FPS is really good, but it still needs some optimization. And I think they can do that. And that leads me to one thing. They postponed the game. And probably then they added like those 60 FPS mode for the Xbox. And I think that's the problem here. They didn't start with it, or it looks like they didn't start with it. Phil Spencer himself said something in an interview with Destin, I believe. He mentioned that developers are capable of optimizing the game because the engine itself, what they're using, whether it's Unreal Engine or whatever, it lets you scale a lot to the point where you can implement those things like the 60 FPS or whatever modes. I wonder why they didn't do that earlier for Avowed. If maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I am curious to see what they can do with the game. So what I'm basically, let's wrap this package up here. I'm glad I didn't listen to a lot of reviews out there, especially to review scoring. I don't care about the numbers anymore. I read the review. Reviews are subjective. It's just how it is, because somebody writes a review. Everyone tries to like make it as objective as possible, but it's not often the case. It cannot be done because there is a person behind writing something or saying something like I'm telling you the game's great. You may have a different opinion. What I'm saying here is Avowed, for me in my opinion, is a really good game, and if you have the Game Pass, it is definitely worth checking this title out. And if you love games like this in general, maybe you want to try it and give it a chance. I hope I could make this title a little bit tastier for you than you may have watched on other reviews, may have seen on other reviews. I think Avowed is a pretty good game. I like it so far. I think I have over 22 hours in the game, but I'm exploring a lot. I'm not crazy far in the story because I'm just always looking left or right because everything is so distracting, and that's really cool. And that's what I like about this game. I hope you have a great time gaming, and if you want to subscribe to the channel or leave a like, do it, feel free to do so. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.